All right, if you're like me, you like candles. Candles are fun. They smell good. They give ambiance. But then you realize you got a whole bunch of candle shells or empty candle jars, right? It turns out it's really easy to make candles with refills. But all the YouTube tutorials are super long and boring. And they're like, what do candles mean to me? So we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go. Let's go. Step one is to get all the stuff you need and then set it up. So you'll need something to measure, measuring cup, pot to boil water in, wax boiler with spoon, the candle shell, or at least what you'll be pouring it into, a jar, wicks, wick stickers, soy wax, or whatever kind of flakes you use. That's about it. Step two, boil water. Step three, measure stuff. Now we're gonna do this while the water is boiling because it takes a little bit. So here's your stuff. So measure 16 ounces of wax flakes per 1 ounce of smelly stuff. As you can see, I poured more than 16 ounces. It doesn't really matter. This doesn't really need to be that accurate. Pour the wax into the boiler. All right, now we're gonna make our wick holder. Right, so you need the wick is gonna be down here and it's gonna go up all through your candle. You can have multiples like this one did. I usually just do one. But anyway, I'm gonna take this card and just carve a hole in it. It's hard to film it with one hand, but all you gotta do is carve a little hole in it like that. And then eventually I'm gonna put it on top of this guy with the wick coming through the top. So it doesn't kind of lean to one side and burn unevenly. All right, now we're gonna prepare the wick. Get your wick sticker and your wick. Peel off the layer there. Put the wick sticker on, it's double-sided. And just jam that guy into the base of the candle. You don't really need to clear out the rest of the candle. If you're a perfectionist, you can, or whatever, but ideally it should look like that. Step 5, make some scrambled eggs at the same time. Okay, actually step 5 is, got our water ready, so all you do now is grab your little wax boiler and chuck that guy in there and wait for it to melt. Careful, depending on how much water you get in there, you don't want to scald yourself. Always get enough love. Step 6, put in the cheese. If you have doggos, give them some cheese. Cheese! So I had a little too much water in there, so I poured some out. Ideally, you don't want this thing to float. I just like when it just hangs out in boogies in there, and you don't have to keep too much of a hand on it. Eggs! Cheese! All right, you can see it's melting, it's coming along. Be sure to poke it. You want to get it to an all liquid state. After it's all melted, pour in the smelly stuff. Remember, that's 1 ounce to every 16 ounces of wax, about. Give it a little stir. Now all you got to do is carefully pour it in the shell. After that, the last step is you see the wick moved. Doesn't really matter that much. Just thread your wick holder guy through the wick. You may have to readjust it. All right, so I used my stirrer to keep the wick base down, and I was able to thread this in. Just gonna safely dispose of that so it doesn't get wax everywhere. But that's it. That's really it. You just gotta wait about 24 to 48 hours, depending. And they will look something like this. Look at these nice candles. Cool musk. It's just like sandalwood, right? So they're all, whenever they get hard like that, they are ready to burn. Last thing you're gonna do is take this guy off when, ooh, you can do it right now. And then trim it. My scissors are really bad. Okay, there you go. Candles.